Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. This is another one of those monthly readings, only this time we're going to be looking at September. As usual, we'll be looking at each of your birth months for September. And as we go through, if you haven't been here before, then you might find something that's quite different from the usual sorts of predictions that are made on YouTube. If you are a regular viewer, then welcome back. I hope that your August went as it should have, and if you used the colours that were missing to incorporate those into your lives, then maybe, just maybe, it was a better August for you than it might otherwise have panned out. I'm particularly thankful to you for attending these sessions because I really am still in the experimental stage, wondering whether or not these are worthwhile. But they're fun to do, and I hope you enjoy them as well. So let's get started. For September's readings, I've chosen an oracle card from the Gabrielle Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back. It's a new season, and so we should have some interesting stuff coming to us from the universe. And hopefully those messages will resonate with you and consolidate some of the reading as we go along. So let's get into a reading for people born in the month of April to see how their September 2025 is going to evolve. Now we start off with an oracle card. My shuffling is really not improving any, I'm afraid. Let's just, here we go. And we'll take that top one, only got one card, yes, and place it there to be looked at the end of the reading. Now I need a colour reading for people born in the month of April for September 2025. People born in April for September 2025. Right, in the past, you've had pink on grey. For the majority of the month, it's going to be green on green. Whoops, a couple stuck together there. I pre-shuffle these, of course, and so they don't need a lot now. And then we have cyan on cyan as the energy leading the month. Oops. And the underlying energy is purple on purple. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. We have three colors here that are repeated, and each one of them is repeated within its own circle. Now, there are only 12 cards in the pack that have the same color top and bottom. And when a color appears both in the top and the bottom, that is in the action as well as the motivation section of a color circle, then it means that there is a rigidity that occurs as a result of how that functions. What you desire is what you do leads into what you desire. And there's very little ability to change from that. But what is actually astounding here is that you have three of them. To have one is unusual. To have two is fairly rare. To have three has only happened once before. So there's something very special, something very important happening here for you that you need to pay attention to, because the same color top and bottom, when it's repeated in more than one card, indicates a rigidity of the way in which you are managing your life, but also something that you need to pay special attention to. And what is that? Well, if we have a look at the underlying energy to begin with, purple on purple is all about disruption, creation, recreation, having fun at the same time as having things go absolutely haywire for you. And in terms of the tarot, purple on purple is the Tower. It's destruction of what was. Everything comes tumbling down. And it's partially because you want it to tumble down. You have had this desire for massive change, and the way in which you create that change is to destroy what was and create something new in its place. Purple on purple is a very, very energetic type of color, but it's also one that causes a great deal of confusion as well, because you're not quite sure what it is that is going to be tumbling down. But certainly it's not allowing life to proceed the way it has in the past. So what has been happening in the past? You've got pink on grey. Grey internally is always a sense of confusion, of uncertainty. You want to get away from things that you really don't understand all that well. So it's a search for clarity in amongst the darkness that appears around you. And in the real world, you've been very vulnerable. You have been unable to ascertain some sort of direction for yourself because you don't have much energy. You need help. You need help to learn how to navigate whatever it is that has created this confusion internally. And in navigating this, the help that you're getting is not necessarily the sort of help that you want, because pink doesn't have any options of its own. It cannot make choices. All pink can do is receive from others. So it makes you very vulnerable to other people's interference with your life, but it also allows you to create an environment in which you, if not content, at least are not frustrated or prepared to argue against or fight against anything that is coming towards you. You're getting help. You've had help. Has it actually cleared the confusion up? Well, that depends on the underlying energy. Because what we have here, if we look at these two together, we can have pink as the action, that is the baby energy, along with purple as the underlying energy, which is actually child energy. And pink and purple together are colors that in the tarot read for the Nine of Wands. This is perseverance. I want change. I can't do anything about it myself, but I will take whatever is on offer and gradually I will allow things to change. The Nine of Wands is often a card of just stick with it, give it one more try, do it again. You haven't completed the task yet, you still need to do more. So it's almost completion. You're almost where you need to go. But because of the pink in the real world, there is a vulnerability that stops you to truly gain what it is that you are after. And what you're after is a change. But remember, this is tower energy. So tower energy combined with the pink means that you are vulnerable to whatever comes crashing down without you really having much say in the process. On the other hand, we could have the purple as the action, that is, this healing energy in the real world, this destruction energy in the real world, motivated by a deal of confusion and uncertainty and inability to make a particular choice. Now, that in itself creates problems, because if you can't make a choice about what's going to be changed in your life, then the changes that occur are going to be uncontrolled. And while the pink and purple together means keep persevering, try again, the purple and the grey here actually say, well, you can't do anything about it anyway. And that's the energy that you've come into the month of September with. It's this inability to do what you want to do, but at the same time, you keep plugging away at it. So where does that take us in terms of the majority of the month? Well, here we have green on green. Now, green on green is very interesting because it's one of the major arcana cards in the tarot. This is the Wheel of Fortune. Opportunities are sought, opportunities are given. I can head off in a new direction. I can find a new pastures to go into. I want to change my values, the way in which I view the world. There they are. All I have to do is grasp them. The Wheel of Fortune is either positive or negative or neutral, depending on which state it happens to be in at any one given time. When we add that to the underlying energy, however, what we end up with is green, that is being able to find new pastures, moving out into new areas, motivated by the purple underneath, the desire for massive change. And that green on purple is another major arcana card from the tarot, and this time it's the Star. It gives us hope. I need drastic change. There are the opportunities to make that change. So we have the Star. On the other hand, you could have the changes are happening, but inside you need to be able to develop the sorts of values that will enable those changes to head in the direction that you want them to. And this time, the violet over green is the King of Pentacles. Exactly what do you want out of life? What energy will create stability for you? Because that's what it's after. If you want new life, and in the real world you have the power to create it, and you have the hope that comes with the Star of having the opportunities to make the changes that are necessary, then these two combined are an extremely powerful way of managing the world. So you've got here the Tower, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, you've got the Star, and you have the King of Pentacles, all bound up in the majority of this month. And what that tends to suggest is there's going to be major changes, maybe even changes to your material world. If that's the case, let's hope that they're all positive ones. Because as you lead into the future, and the reason I say I hope it's positive, because it looks like it probably will be, as you lead into the future, you end up with cyan on cyan. Cyan on cyan resonates with the tarot card known as the Three of Cups. So it's celebration. It's celebration because everything is blissful. Everything is in its place. There is nothing more that you could possibly desire. And that's a wonderful place to be in, particularly when you look at the changes that are inherent here as a result of the failure to do whatever it is that you wanted to do back here and the disruption that occurred as a result of that. So we come from disruptive energies through to highly motivated and energetic energies here that allow you to create changes in a way that is probably out of your control a fair bit, but at the same time also energies that are all positive. So they involve your heart and your soul. Now we've headed off into a direction in which things are truly wonderful. Three of Cups energy is energy for celebration. Now, again, we can take the cyan from the real world, that is, the bliss that has been generated or the contentment that's been generated in the external world, and add it to the interior need for fun or change. And here we have the Nine of Cups energy. Cyan on purple is the Nine of Cups. It's the being able to, again, celebrate, only this time it's celebration of something fairly permanent. So you've actually attained what it is, you've attained your heart's desire. You've attained what it is that you desired, that you wanted. But we could also do it the other way, in which the drive for peace and harmony and contentment and everything in its place and where it should be, combined with an action of destruction and things changing. Violet over cyan is the Four of Cups. Whereas this was the Nine of Cups, here we have the Four of Cups. Here we have wish fulfillment and great happiness. Here we have discontent. Which direction are you going to take your future into? It all depends on what the outcome is of these cards here, of these colors. Your Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, Hope, and the King of Pentacles. Which way are you going to deal with those when you get to the state in which everything is peace and harmony and satisfaction? Will you be celebrating? You've got the opportunity to do so, but you also got the opportunity to feel as though things are not what they seem. So let's have a look at the colours that are missing to determine what it is that you could be doing to ensure that the happiness that is on offer actually exists. You don't have any black or white or red or yellow, but you do have green. There's no blue or brown or orange, but you do have grey and purple and pink and cyan. So here we have 5 colours that indicate what is likely to happen for you in September. And that journey involves some fairly major issues that need to be overcome and a fairly rigid personality that is dealing with them. So it's up to you to determine how flexible you are likely to make yourself. And that flexibility can be attained by the use of the colours that are missing. What do we have here? We have black, the ability to take time out to contemplate what it is that's happening and also to get in touch with your own spirit self. White, the need for some enlightenment, for lightening up, for a bit of inspiration. Red, which is energy to be able to take charge of issues as they arrive. Yellow, learning, being able to remember what it is that you have learnt and also to digest the things that you are experiencing. Blue is about order and organisation and responsibility. Brown is about being able to create goals, aspirations, learning the practical things that are necessary for you in order to move forward. And orange is all about survival of crises. Which of these colours is most appealing and which is least appealing? Because you need to put those two into your life to ensure that these rigid issues that arise here, even though they have within them the potential for greatness, they also have a potential in them for things to fall apart. It's all up to you. So what does the Oracle have to say about all of this? I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. Whatever it takes. Good luck, destruction, ultimate happiness. What are you going to do? And what are you going to use to get there? It's entirely up to you. And there you have it, your birthday month as it plays out for September 2025. I hope that these readings are useful to you to help guide you through the various different decisions that need to be made and the activities that accompany those decisions. But if it doesn't resonate immediately, perhaps come back in a week or so, because you never know just how these things tend to play out. And often we don't recognize them unless they are in retrospect. As I mentioned at the start, I pre-shuffle all the cards, and if you want to know how I go about doing this, I will attach a link to the video that explains that down below in the show notes. But if you've got any comments to make, any ideas that either support or even refute the sort of information that I'm handing out here, please leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to engage. After all, a discussion isn't a discussion. A conversation is not a conversation when there's only one person doing the talking. So for September, I wish you all the best. I hope your colours work for you. I certainly use mine. Mine this month were all about to stop, settle back, and reorganize. And as you can see from the way in which I've presented this month's sessions, I've done a little bit of just that. So until next time, may your colours guide you to a wonderfully fulfilling life. Bye.